Good morning, gang. Happy Tuesday morning. Okay. Weird. What do you want to talk about this morning? Should we talk about government waste? Gee, I don't know. That's been talked about enough. Comes out now the fact that currently we're in debt to China by $859 billion. Funny. How come we owe them nearly 3% of our national debt? Weird. Okay. We could talk about, I don't know, somebody coming to their common sense and going, Hunter Biden doesn't need to have 17 Secret Service personnel protecting him, or Ashley Biden doesn't need to have 13 Secret Service members protecting her. They're nobodies. It's always been, after a president's term, the only people in the family that get Secret Service protection are the former president and the former first lady, not the drug-addicted son. Gee, you're going to take a trip to South Africa for a month and we're going to provide your protection. Guess what? Not happening. That's over. Trump said he's going to release all the JFK tapes, 80,000 some odd pages of them. Okay? We'll see what happens. He promised that we'll see the Epstein stuff soon, too. Again, I'll believe it when I see it. But the big shake your head moment and go, huh? Really? This is ridiculous. It's funny. I seem to remember an election, 3 months ago, so thereabouts, where we elected members of Congress and a president to the United States. I don't remember the people ever choosing some wannabe dictator as a federal judge. The story on the judge who tried to have the planes turned around demanded that the president of the United States not follow a century-old law, figure that one out, is now doubling down. This is insane. All right. Judge Boasberg came out yesterday, and he is now opening an investigation against the Trump administration. Right? Based on what? The fact that you overstepped your bounds, that you ruled on something that you have no jurisdiction whatsoever, that you made a ruling that violated the law, and because it didn't meet your uber liberal narrative, now you're going to drag Trump through more shit. This man has seen more time in court than, I don't know, Al Capone. It's unbelievable that the guy sneezes and, oh my God, we've got to take him to court. No. He's the president of the United States, the duly elected by the people under our Constitution, president of the United States, not a king, and he is making decisions based on federal law. Sorry, little dipshit judge. You don't get to make laws. You are supposed to interpret the laws when it's pretty cut and dry on how to do it. Gee, we're getting rid of terrorists and criminals and sending them back to the country where they have citizenship. What part of that is not clear? My dog can interpret that law, okay? Not difficult. But no, this judge has upped the ante, okay? He's now demanding the Department of Education. That's where he needs to go get an education. Department of Justice to answer a bunch of questions. The reason they did all this, okay, and again, you guys know the story, the planes were in international airspace. That's what the government is claiming. Your ruling doesn't have any jurisdiction, okay? Your ruling didn't, and as far as I'm concerned, your ruling doesn't have any jurisdiction if they were sitting on the tarmac in Texas. Your ruling is illegal, okay? Sorry, Judge, you can't write laws. Get it? You can't change laws. You want to change laws? Go run for Congress. Until you do that, STFU, okay? There we go. It's early. Try to get the words out. So this judge comes out yesterday, and when he's asking questions of a DOJ spokesperson, the person says, sorry, I can't answer that question. And the judge says, what do you mean you can't? I'm a judge. National security. These are classified answers. I can't give them to you. The judge comes up, I have a security clearance. You can tell me. Now, I will tell you this. In my time in the military, I carried a security clearance. The need to know thing that you guys always hear about in movies or whatever is actually true. Okay? Just because you have a clearance doesn't give you carte blanche to get any of the information you want. You know, when I was in the Army, the government wasn't going to give me the nuclear access codes. I had a security clearance, okay, granted not high enough, but to get nuclear codes, but I had no need to know. So they weren't going to, that information was not going to be released to me. The judge, I don't care about his security clearance, even if he has one, which I doubt, okay? Why would a judge need a security clearance? You know, the only thing the judge would need a security clearance for is if he was overseeing a criminal case in which there was federal national security at risk, and I don't think he'd be a judge that would be overseeing that case, okay? But this is what the judge demanded the DOJ answers. How many planes left at any time Saturday based solely on the proclamation? None of your business. How many people were on each plane? None of your business. In what country did the planes land? Well, this has already been pretty much made obvious. It's El Salvador. So, okay, that's where they went. What time did they take off and land? After your order was issued. Or they took off before your order was issued and landed afterwards. There you go. Okay. When were they in airspace? Here's an easy answer. From the time they took off to the time they landed. Okay? What time were individuals on the plane transferred to custody? Immediately upon landing. They were transferred over to El Salvador in custody. In the air, they were still in custody the entire time they were in custody, okay? It wasn't like somebody said, hey, go put on your Hawaiian shirt and get your suntan lotion. You're going to take a vacation for a few hours, and when we get there, we're going to hand you over. No, it doesn't work that way. They were shackled. They were in custody. These were the worst of the worst that nobody's made any sort of bones about whatsoever that we're getting rid of. This is a judge that, like so many other ones, would be more than happy to let murderers and rapists and everybody else out on the street. Oh, gee, you know what? It was just, it was just a little rape. It wasn't a painful murder. These are the logic these judges are using. We need to get these judges impeached. Brandon Gill is supposed to introduce legislation to impeach this judge. It better work. But when we have the people, you and me, when we have no confidence in the legal system, you know, look what Fannie Willis did, or look what Letitia James did. You know, I mean, twisted the law around so bad that we'll create a crime and prosecute this guy, but we'll ignore a crime that was actually committed so we can let this guy go. How much do you trust our legal system? Probably this much. You know, we're getting screwed by the liberals left and right. It's to the point, guys, it's getting very close where this is justice. I'm not saying go out and do anything, but the liberals are pushing it to the point where street justice is going to happen. That we're going to see more, you raped my daughter? Okay, I'll take care of it because I know the courts won't. Trump is doing his best to clean up this country. It amazes me that there is anybody, any single person who goes, yeah, I don't want that to happen. I want to keep pissing away money on stuff that we shouldn't be. I want to keep letting criminals out in the street. And that seems to be the Liberal Party platform. The liberals are pushing more and more people toward the right, which is good. They are doing such a piss poor job of protecting the American citizens. The American citizens are finally going, I ain't putting up with this crap anymore. We got to get these people out. Unfortunately, we can't unelect a judge, especially when he's not elected in the first place. So we have to hope our congressmen do their job and get rid of these radical lunatics. We have to protect ourselves because the judges are fine letting the rapist, the murderer, all those people that years ago Trump said were the ones coming across the border. Once again, he was proven true. Okay. All those people are out walking the street. But we're getting close to the guy who posts a silly meme on Facebook is going to go to jail, kind of like they do in Great Britain. Do you see the war on Americans? We've got South American terrorists running roughshod over the United States. We've got radical Islam running roughshod across the United States. We've got all sorts of protests. Pro-Palestinian. We're deporting one guy. Okay? One. Every single one of them who's not a U.S. citizen should already be on a rubber raft floating out in the middle of the Atlantic right now. We have to take our country back. Otherwise, we're going to turn into France, to England, to Germany, and we're not going to have a country. You know, I forget which country, I want to say it's Sweden. There are more Muslims in, I think it's Sweden, more Muslims in Sweden than there are Swedes. Imagine that. Your country has now been conquered. Might take a little bit more to do it to the United States. But you know what? If we don't get a grasp around this, we're going to have the cartels and the gangs running this country, or radical Islam running this country. Can you imagine? Again, you better on one of these, or preferably 10. Pinball out.